Hello and welcome. In the last lesson, we learned how to use relative referencing to solve mathematical equations using Excel. In this lesson, we are going to use absolute referencing and learn how to apply it to solve mathematical equations. Now, how do we make a reference absolute? We make a reference absolute by introducing the dollar sign. By introducing the dollar sign to the reference. Here's the dollar sign. All right. Now, by default, Excel cells are configured with relative referencing. That is why when you click a cell, all you have is H9, for instance. How do we then make a cell absolute, referencing? So if for instance this is cell Q6, if you want to make this cell to have absolute referencing, we say $O, $6. We can also make only the row absolute, leaving the column relative. All right. For instance, if you want to make the row absolute and the column relative, all we need to do is to introduce the dollar bill, the dollar sign to the row. Remember, row is numbers, Q, because the column is relative, the column is normal, is in default, and then we want to make the row absolute. So we introduce $8. So this is telling us that, okay, for this cell, the column is normal, is relative, but the row is absolute. And then if we want to make the column absolute, we introduce this dollar sign. For this is $Q. And then the row is normal, the row is relative, 10. Okay, now let us apply this to real life situation, and then you'll be able to understand what I am talking about. Now, if you look at this, let me remove this. If you look at this question, we want to determine how much each of these guys spent in purchase of their dumbbells. All right. Eva has 2, Pablo has 10. All right. So how much does it cost them to buy their dumbbells? Okay. When a dumbbell costs $2 or 2 naira, as the case may be. So, like we do normally when we want to carry out mathematical function, is equal to this cell, that is 2, all right, times, now I cannot pick this because I want to make this cell absolute, right? Because when I am referring to Liam and Pablo and Jenny, this is the only other cell that I'll be referring to, all right? So in making this cell absolute, this is J, so it's going to be $. This cell is what? Oh, sorry, don't worry about it. We know. This cell is J14, $J, and then $14. We want to make that cell absolute, 14. As you can see, $J, $14, Excel already recognizes that, okay, this is the cell you are referring to, 1, and you want to make this cell absolute, 2. which is fine. So try and look at the equation that we have now established here. Okay, so is equal to J5 is making reference to Eva, the cell containing the number of bills for Eva. And then J14, ordinarily J14 would have been, we just click on this cell and we get J14. But because we want to make this cell absolute, so we had to introduce the $sign, $J14, all right, which had made this to be an absolute referenced cell. So we click enter and we got 4, okay, 4 naira spent by Eva. And then we apply the fast fill. Remember the fast fill function. Whether we decide to, let me go back. You can drag. All right, you still get your answers. You can see that for Pablo has 10 dumbbells. Each dumbbell costs 2 naira. So Pablo has spent 20 naira. Okay, so we're able to achieve this without doing it manually because we have made this cell to be an absolute reference cell for every other activities. Unlike what we have in relative referencing, where you must have another column that you want to pair the dumbbell columns with. So for this wouldn't have been possible if we apply relative referencing. Let me confirm that for you. Okay, so let's go again. Is equal to Eva multiplied by this. Okay, we got 4, right? Now let's drag our 4 down and see if, do you now get that because we have not converted this to an absolute reference cell, we will not get the desired results. Excel is returning 0 when it is supposed to return the number amounts that each of these trainers have spent on dumbbells. I hope you understand now that for you to make a permanent reference to just one single item of cell, you must make that cell absolute. And how do you do that? How do you make a cell absolute? You make a cell absolute by introducing the $sign for both the column and for the row. I will see you in the next lesson.